Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered at the Salon. I am really excited to be with you guys today, and I want to talk about a question that we ask ourselves multiple times a day. The question is, what do I want? And I am not talking about what you want for dinner or what kind of shoes to buy, even though I struggle with those decisions sometimes. I am talking about what you want out of life, what you want for your life. I think that this question can sometimes be the most difficult question we can ask ourselves. And I think it's difficult because it comes with a level of responsibility. Because once you decide what you want, then you have to take certain actions to get there. And sometimes those actions come with big, scary, difficult, life altering decisions. So we retreat, we stay where it's comfortable because it's what we know and it doesn't require more of us. We essentially would rather take what's given to us than make a decision and act on what we actually want in our lives. I know for me, some of the most pivotal changes I've ever made in my life have come from some of the hardest times. Um, but I can say that once you make that first tough decision, it gets easier and easier to make more tough decisions because you learn to trust yourself. I think the hard times really show you what you want and what you're made of and what you're capable of. I think one of the first really tough decisions I ever made was probably about 13 years ago now, when I decided to leave my relationship with somebody I was married to. And I think at that point, I had just gotten to a mindset where I could have stayed to appease other people, but I knew I couldn't do that. Um, so it came with a lot of tough conversations. It came with a lot of tough decisions that I didn't want to deal with. But I knew that I did not want my life to look the same. So the only option was to end that relationship. So that led me to a few years later moving to a new area that I absolutely love. And then opening my own salon, I started niching down into hair extensions. That was also a big risk, a big investment for the education. But I think you know when it's the right decision. And there's that little voice that just keeps nagging at you. If it's something a decision you don't want to make, it doesn't go away. But all of these things were risks. But it was a risk to stay the same, and it was a risk to do something different. But you never know what you're capable of and what you're meant for if you keep sitting on the sidelines of your own life and don't take intentional action towards the things that you want. But the first step is actually deciding what you want. Another pivotal moment was when I decided to launch this podcast. And I would be lying if I didn't say that this podcast was finally born because of the ending of a relationship. It is something I've wanted to do for a long time, but there was something about the ending of that relationship that just finally made me make the move to make this happen. I think it's all about perspective and what you take away during the hard times. You can let those hard times control you and hold on to those negative emotions forever. Or you can look at the hard times and ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to push me towards? I think you can be a victim to the things that happen in your life, or you can actually take control and take full responsibility and decide how you're going to think and what action you're going to take. Like I said before, everything is a risk. But the biggest one is doing something different because you've never been there before. You might not even know who you are in that situation because it's going to require a different version of you. It's going to require new habits, new surroundings, maybe new people that you surround yourself with. But isn't that the exciting part, guys? I mean, I truly think that we are not here and we're not meant to stay the same. We are meant to be constantly evolving. One of my favorite quotes that I heard a really long time ago, and it's always stuck with me, is a mind that is stretched by a new experience can never go back to its old dimensions. And that is so true. And I know that because I have experienced that in my life over and over again. Once you do something different, once you start training your mind to think different thoughts and think the thoughts that you need to think to be the person that you want to be, you can never go back to how you were before. Like I said earlier, some of the most pivotal points in my life have come from some of the hardest times. And I think it's because I trained myself to turn that negative emotion into purpose. Like turn that negative emotion into, okay, where do I go from here? Like there's nothing I can do about this situation. So you kind of have to surrender to that. And then you have to ask yourself, what do I want from my life? What is going to make me happy? What am I here for? And I think that is probably, like I said, the biggest question that you can ask yourself. And it's something that you ask yourself over and over again. It's not something that you ask yourself and then, okay, that's it. No, you are constantly asking yourself that over and over again. Sometimes it's once a year, sometimes it's once every 3 years, sometimes it's once every 10 years. But truly, when you think about your life in 20 years, think about that time from now, between now and 20 years. What do you want that to look like? And even for me, like I can't pinpoint every single detail. Like I don't know. But I think the more you decide the little things in each aspect of your life, it's like a snowball effect. And you're like, okay, I want this in this area of my life. Okay, well, and now I want this in this area of my life. But it starts with making one big decision, and it gets easier the more you make those decisions because, like I said earlier, you learn to trust yourself and you see the effects of making these decisions. You think back like 5-10 years ago and you were a completely different person. And even if you made the wrong decision in your eyes, even though I think there's never a wrong decision, as long as you can take the lesson away from that and grow from that, then it's never a wrong decision. So I hope that all makes sense. And I hope that it gets you thinking a little bit of what's something that you want in your life that maybe you've been a little too afraid to go after because it's going to require more of you. It's going to require a different version of you. It's going to require you to make some changes in your life. So I want to know your thoughts. Like, did this resonate with you today? Did it light a spark in you? Send me a DM because I would love to know and I would love to chat about it. So that's it for today. Until next time, see you then.